Okay, so what's going on? Welcome to a video that's kind of hard, kind of difficult to do. I've been thinking about this video for about a month, how I'm going to talk about it, what approach I'm going to take with it. Because it's a very difficult issue, it's a delicate topic, it's a very confronting topic, and it was a confronting experience for me to go through. Let me explain. So I did cut a tiny part out of my vlog, the last vlog, the Italy vlog. We went to Austria, and when we went to Austria, we also went to a concentration camp. I didn't film anything there, but I did film something afterwards, sort of briefly discussing how it made me feel. I don't exactly feel like I should share that video, so I made this video, and it's a video that's basically going to talk about my experience there and just how it felt walking through such a confronting place. Yes, I'm filming outside at a different location than usual. Not that that matters in the grand scheme of things, but I just wanted some good natural lighting for this video and wanted a bit of fresh air, do something. I didn't want to be stuck inside my room when filming this video. So in January of 2018, I went to a Nazi concentration camp called Madenhausen, I think you pronounce it, Madenhausen. Anyways, you can Google it. It was a big concentration camp. Yeah, located in, I think, North Austria. And when we went, it was definitely the most confronting part of the 6 weeks that I was away. I don't cry much, but I felt it there. I didn't cry, but a lot of the people around me cried, and it's, you can't blame them. It's something that, there's so much history around that location. It's history that you learn about, and you're sad when you read about it, but it's history, and then when you're actually there at this concentration camp, it's no longer history, it's reality. You begin to get an idea of what these people went through. Obviously, we'll never be able to feel to that extent what they went through, but you really start to get an idea of it. Basically, we walked through this concentration camp. They still have the massive towers at the entranceway. You get an idea of how, again, confronting is going to be a really common word I use in this video because I think that's the best word used to describe this experience. We walked through this entranceway and it began to snow, and it was thick snow. This is a bit of a sidebar, but it was very thick snow. We looked out of the windows of some of the buildings that we were in, and all you could see was like pretty much just white. As we walked through to the left, there was a place called the Stairs of Death. We weren't allowed to go down that because it was snowing. They closed it off in winter. I wish I saw them, but I'm not going to talk about that environment because I wasn't there, and I just don't know that experience. There is a helicopter going past right now, so if you can hear that in the background of the audio, I'm very, very sorry. Then we walk through, you walk past a bunch of memorials that are really nice. They're really, they're so respectful. There's so much symbolism behind them. Yeah, they're really kind of amazing. I think one of the first rooms that we walked into was the food hall. I believe they said it was the food hall of the people of like the Nazis, the people running the camp. Even then, that was pretty small, but after that, we move on to sort of the living quarters and the bedroom and the bathing rooms, and they are so small for the amount of people that were in there. They're so dull. These people would have had nothing. There's a couple of windows in it. That's it. It's eerie walking through there now with there nothing being in those rooms, and all you can hear is your footsteps walking where these people once walked. It is an experience like nothing else I've had in my entire life. That's where a lot of the people started crying. After that, we then walked into a church. This church looked pretty modern, so I assume that this was a rebuilt thing after the Holocaust. There was also a graveyard there. Again, a lot of memorials there. In the snow, it was one of those scenes that was, is it bad to say beautifully sad? Beautifully sad I don't think is a bad thing. I think the snow just made everything look more beautiful. I'm glad it was snowing whilst I was there. It just provided this perfect contrast between this horrible place with this beautiful white snow. If you're being symbolic and stuff, it was like the white purity contrast with the black horribleness of what these people went through. The graveyard was peaceful. It was just snowflakes dropping down here and there. It was beautifully sad because it was so peaceful. Those people were at peace. So beautifully sad is definitely a way that I'm going to use to describe that whole area. And by this point, a bunch of the girls, a bunch of the guys, they were all crying. It was really tough. I felt it really confronting. Something to bear in mind is that in this concentration camp, a lot of it has been taken down. There's sort of just like one sort of street that you walk down, and there's stuff on either side of it. From there, we then walked into a bit of a museum place. There's a lot of artifacts there, a lot of information about different things, a lot of the ways that different things were handled. I briefly looked at this stuff. I had to run through it. We only had an hour and a half, and we were there, and I really wanted to spend a lot of time soaking in what these people went through in the actual environments, not really in the museum. So after all of this, the final place that we went to was by far the most confronting place that we went to. It was the gas chambers. I knew that this was going to be a confronting experience. I knew that, it's going to sort of change the way you think about things, your outlook on some things, but this was so different. On the way down, you're surrounded by memorials to almost everyone that was lost in this concentration camp. There are memorials, and it's sad, and it's gloomy, and it's dark, and then you get to this door. It's a door smaller than your normal door, and you stick your head into that room. You can't walk into it, but you stick your head into it, and there is no getting out of that. The moment that those people walked into that room, they knew that they were not getting out. You look at the doors are thick, and whilst you can't close the doors, you can picture those doors closing and how how tightly sealed that's gonna be. You can almost, when you're there, you can almost feel what those people felt. And whilst I'm never gonna feel how desperate and sad they felt, I definitely got a glimpse of it. And I think everyone did. Some people that I knew turned away as soon as they saw the chamber, not out of any negativity, just out of the fact that they were already so distraught that this would just, it was not good for them to go down there, so they probably made the right decision. I just took a few seconds, maybe a minute, to really soak in. I was standing in the doorway to a gas chamber. This chamber would have killed thousands and thousands of people. The amount of people that walked through where I walked through, knowing that they were not coming out of there alive, it is unreal, and it is one of the most horrible things that I've ever had to think about, and being in that room was one of the most horrible things that I have ever had to go through. I'm very glad that I did it. I feel like it was something that I felt that I personally had to do in that camp, but it was definitely an experience like nothing else I've ever been through and nothing else that I will ever go through. On my trip through Europe, we learned a lot about World War II. You know, in the next vlog, which you'll see, we go to Berlin and Amsterdam. Berlin obviously is a massive World War II memorial. When I went to Amsterdam, I didn't film there, of course, but we did go to Anne Frank's house, which is also very confronting. But I learned a lot about World War II in there, and I learned a lot about how this thing cannot be allowed to happen again. I don't think, I don't think it will happen again. It'll be very, very hard for things to be escalated to this point. But with certain people who are in power at the moment, you don't really know, we've got to tread lightly. We've got to be careful. We've got to make sure that we're not being steered down the path which we've been steered down in the past. We cannot make the same mistakes that we have made in the past, and this kind of thing by no means ever can happen again. No catastrophe like this can happen again, and that's what my generation and pretty much the demographic of YouTube and the people watching this, our generation is for making sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again. Sorry, it kind of might have killed your mood for the day, but I hope it gives you something to think about. My next upload will be back to normal fun uploads, but this is just something that I felt I personally had to vent about, and also needed to talk about. It's not, I don't just want to hide this part of the trip like it never happened. It was a big thing, and it impacted me and a lot of the people around me in ways that I never thought it could. That's why I made this video. I hope it did something for you, and you just come away from this video thinking about it. And I do think that if you've not been to a concentration camp before, which I assume is the vast majority of you should go. It is compulsory for any 16-year-old in Berlin to go to a concentration camp, which is very confronting for a young age. A lot of people were in early 20s on this trip, and they were very upset and distraught by it all. Imagine being 16 and going there to see that kind of thing. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.